Hi, welcome to Free Spirit and welcome to another spirit message and tip that I wanted to share and leave on this channel for all who may find, because I know everybody here. Yeah, I just definitely wanted to leave this. So there's no card to demonstrate this, so I'm literally using the cover of Denise Jarvie's oracle deck called The Secret Language of Light, but it's really the secret languages of light. And the message is how to be using different spiritual languages for different people to cross over. So this has come up in the comments a lot, which is so funny. And also the times that we're in, very practically, we have to be there for other people and ourselves who are really dealing with a lot of loss and hardship and difficulties. And you want to be there very practically for them and give them peace or love or support or everything else. And you have to kind of speak the language with who you're dealing with. And then going to the first part that I was talking about was, there are many different spiritual languages, and what's come up in the comments is that a lot of the people who have come to my channel, they say, oh, this is so great, we get to talk about all these things, and there are things that I would never dream of talking about with my friends or family, like in the real world, because they don't speak the language. Like they are either don't believe in these kinds of things or don't call themselves spiritual. No one's talking in this quote-unquote language, but we're free here to talk very spiritually. And I said, of course, you have different languages for different people. And here on this channel, it's almost like we have a shorthand already, or we already pick up in a different spot where other people are not speaking that language whatsoever. So how do you speak the spiritual language? Like, how do you use different spiritual languages for different people? And we definitely do. Like, so for here on this channel, of course, I share and I even speak in a different way than I would very practically in my real world life, like with business and with friends or with family. I didn't grow up with people who even quote unquote like what a person in my family likes to say, I don't believe in that stuff. So it's even stuff. So how do you, but at the same time, you want to be there very practically for people in the ways that that would definitely help or support them or give them a level of peace. So this is all inclusive. So it's just one big video just to talk about it. I've been getting that my entire life, and it's also a challenge in how we literally utilize all we are to know what language to actually speak. So how to be using different spiritual languages for different people to cross over. And that's definitely what it is. It's using different spiritual languages for different people to cross over. And you'll even notice, which is really interesting, there's so many religions, and that is a level of crossing over, right? Whatever, or if you're very spiritual, that's a way to cross over. Like they said, the secret language of light, it can cross over in many different ways. So it's not to be judgmental of how somebody receives, like say a transmission. On the bottom it actually says transmission. We're all getting knowledge, peace, love, but in different languages, if you look at it that way. But this is all about using different spiritual languages for people to cross over borders of communication. So this is a spirit message tip I wanted to share and leave here, which has been a challenge in my own life, how to curb that, because sometimes you're trying to be helpful or supportive, but you're not speaking the language where it's received well. And so there's tweaking involved, or knowing who you're with. So let me read. I have a little cheat sheet here to go by, because I can go off on a tangent. But they're saying this comes in handy when speaking with people who you can tell read or know are not down with the spiritual language or the lingo. They may not even be believers in quite anything that you believe in, yet in some way, shape, or form, you can give them some knowledge, a tip, an idea, or give them some level of peace or love. And a perfect situation is when someone has lost someone, especially during this time, and they may not even believe in life after death. So how can you bring them peace? Are you, trying to give a message, but no, the minute you use too much of a spiritual word, they're just going to tune off. They're going to snort, they're going to tune off, or just not want to hear that. So it's literally knowing who you're speaking to and their language. Can you use words that land better? Can you frame it in a way that is more practical and not spiritual? Can you describe something in their terms, in their language? Yes, this is using all your skills to the max, because you use your skills to know what to say and then read them and then know exactly how to frame it so it lands in a way that's not threatening anything they believe in, yet it gives them something to think about or land in a way that they almost feel like, yes, that already makes sense to me. So yes, whatever you communicate has to make sense to them is the barometer, and it can then help them. So, when someone passes on, what I might say to somebody who I know believes in spiritual, like we already have a shorthand, I already know I can word things in a much different way, almost like how I am on this channel. But then if I know they don't believe in that stuff, it's like, how can you say something that just keeps them, I had somebody lose somebody recently, and I know she doesn't quote unquote believe in this stuff, but I just said, don't be scared. This is all I said, but I think he's going to just show you a sign that he's just around. Like, just keep your eyes out, not in a scary way, in a loving way. I think he's going to show you something, just so you know, because he did believe in this stuff, by the way, that he's around and he loves you. And wouldn't you know, just this week, in fact, she shared with me she got a sign, and she only confided that with me. She just, quote unquote, does not believe in this stuff, right? So, and in fact, when I framed it like, you can get messy, she just turned me off for the longest time. And then I just said, there's a sign. You just look out for a sign that he's still around, that he loves you, or just be open. He's not going to scare you. And she received it. So anything that, that's just an example, but, just being there and communicating whatever makes sense to them in their barometer, then it can help them, right? So now she believes he's around. Now she doesn't feel completely alone. Now she knows, that he's still around. It gave her great peace, and she also got direct evidence. So it's almost like you're leaving a breadcrumb, even if they don't fully receive it, but leaves them a little open to then find something on their own. That is what I call like personal evidence for themselves, right? So whatever you communicate has to make sense for them in their barometer, and then it can help them. So this is where it comes to our skills, right? For you, know who you're talking to, right? And how to frame things so it, quote unquote, lands. It lands. And when it lands, it gives them a sense of peace, love, comfort, support, and help in some way. It's a really fine line to walk and balance and fine tune that really makes all the difference. And that is a challenge in itself, because there are many times you try something and it just doesn't land. And I say that comment all the time, like, it just doesn't land. Like, whatever words you chose, however you framed it, it wasn't received, it didn't land. And so it uses your skills to almost like read the person, especially if you know the person, already what they believe, what they don't believe. It's like a tightrope. What can you say to really give them love, peace, and almost leave a breadcrumb for them to find something on their own? It's really a fine line to walk and balance and fine tune that makes all the difference. So they say the key is to know who you're talking to, know how to frame things so it lands. And when it lands, it's going to give them a level of peace, love, comfort, support, and real help in some way. And then you can then, quote unquote, really be there for someone in the ways they really want to even receive it. And that is the secret languages of light. It's maneuvering all the different ways they can be a receiver of light in some way. Like, how can you be the middle guy of the delivery of, and even if it doesn't fully land, if you just plant a seed, but then all of a sudden something will come through, and you planted it already, so then it's like they recognize it when it comes. Like, maybe if I didn't even say anything so innocent, like, he's just look out for a sign that he's still around and he's helping you through this process or something. And then when it happened, she was like, oh my gosh, and she was bathed. And she has a level of love and support and peace that she didn't have before. So I guess I'm sharing this tip and message because I know there are a lot of times it's very frustrating when you can give a level of support or peace or love, but it's very hard to navigate when someone doesn't speak that language, right? It is like a secret language of light, and we're all receivers and can... you want them to be a receiver of a little light, especially in a very dark time, right? I mean, that's what it really boils down to. And you want to give them that level of peace, love, support. But if they're turned off or have a closed door to many different ways of it getting to them, it's something to navigate. So I love this part when I got, know who you're talking to, know how to frame things so it lands. And when it lands, it will give them a sense of peace, love, comfort, support, and help in some way. And it is a fine line to walk and balance and fine tune that really makes all the difference. But they're saying you can really be there for another person. So don't doubt your ability to really be there for someone in the ways that they can receive it. And this has all been about the secret language of light. And so I've been wanting to leave this message for quite a while. Like I said, I haven't been doing as many videos because it's so loud in my apartment most of the time now. So I've been sharing a lot of tips and spirit messages and tips because I feel like at this point, everybody who's on my channel, who finds my videos, we're all coming from the same place. I feel that. And, you know, if I could share what has helped me and, what I have picked up and what I go by. This is definitely one of them, especially during this time when people are going through such a hard time and there are different languages of light that, you know, how to be using different spiritual languages for different people to cross over. And that is really the whole thing, is to use everything to the max here, right? So I definitely want to keep sharing, you know, more spirit messages and tips as they come up to be shared. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.